That's it. That's what we're starting with.
Is it?
It's just whatever that sound was that just came out of my throat. How are you all doing? Are you having a great day?
It's a Monday. There's a ceiling on.
Okay, that's fair. Honestly, fair.
If it's a Monday for you, sound off in the comments below.
It's a 50-50 shot.
I believe you'll find it is not a 50-50 shot.
Well, I don't know how many episodes will be up between now and then, and like how long the stuff in between, because we haven't recorded whatever's going in between this, and then there's like Patreon stuff that gets in the way.
And
what?
They can listen to it on any of the day of the week they want.
Yeah, but I mean, it might. It's like I'm talking about the day it goes up.
Yeah.
Read your line. Stop being
it's
weird
my
about
line.
This.
Okay, sorry. Morning, Keiichi. What time did you go to sleep?
I did not sleep well last night at all. My mother could tell from a single glance. I had the worst dreams. Nightmares, very ominous dreams, one after the other, again and again. I woke up after each one, but could never even remember a fraction of what they had been about. But it was like those dreams were predicting something unpleasant, and I woke up in a terrible mood. Hey now, every day has been calm and fun before today, right? Those days should continue on, unchanging forever. Yet anxiety was the only emotion growing within me. Why was that? Nightmares reflect your own anxiety, right? They show an uneasy mind, that which you wouldn't admit to normally. Yesterday, I remember the ominous conversation about Satoshi I had with Shion, Mion, and Rena. That's right. My mind felt like it was in a black fog because we had talked about that. If I just lived every day without causing a fuss, my reward would be ever more peaceful days, right? I understood that, so why did I cause such discord? But now that I thought about it calmly, a very simple verbal slip on my part couldn't possibly change the world. Yeah. As long as I'm sorry for doing it, and never talk about it again, there is nothing that anyone can blame me for, right? Besides, how can my fate possibly change just because I talked about that? Nothing was going to change. Yeah, nothing would change. Nothing would change. Nothing would change.
That's a creepy smile. If you're still half asleep, then go wash your face.
Ugh, I'd finally cheered up enough to smile, and Mom slapped me right back down. Now I was irritated again. There wasn't much time left before I had to meet up with Rena. I frantically started to get ready to go to school.
Have a good day. Watch out for cars.
There are barely any cars to watch out for, Mom. In Hinamizawa, anyway. What are the odds, anyway? I dashed out the front door. The morning air was far more refreshing than the water on my face. That's right, Keiichi Maebara. If you're sorry enough about it and reflect upon your mistakes, then that's enough.
In before Chapter 4 is the chapter where he forgets to look out for cars and just gets pancaked at the beginning of the chapter.
He gets hit by Truck Kun in like the very beginning, and the rest is just everyone else going on without him. I wonder who that guy was that we didn't get to know very well. But also, doesn't he open the game talking about forgiveness?
Yeah, didn't he, huh?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like the game opens with him on the train there. And the monologue in his head is about forgiveness, about like, hey, as long as you said you're sorry, then like you have to accept that apology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's something they can't take back, then that's all the more reason you need to accept it, because that means that they're living with something they can't let go of. Themes. Let's pull yourself together and get to school, and return to fun, enjoyable days, where everyone laughs, plays, and has a good old time. I'll be nice to Sadako as an apology, too. Yeah, wasn't I supposed to be her Nini until Satoshi got back anyway?
Good morning, Keiichi-kun.
That's my name, don't wear it out. Rena, too, looked nothing like she had yesterday when she said that weird stuff. If I could only forget, then I could still act like nothing had happened. So I called out to her with all the energy I could muster. Hey there! Good morning, Rena. Early as usual today. Good morning.
Morning.
There was a little time before the same old morning homeroom began, but Sadako and Rika-chan were unusually absent. Maybe they went to play somewhere? Feels like they keep disappearing ever sooner and sooner. If this is them also disappearing like they did last time. But that happened after Watanagashi, so... Maybe they went to play somewhere. Or if we're looking over and seeing none of their things. Looked like they really hadn't come to school, huh?
They're almost never late.
Rena seemed to be enjoying herself, thinking about what their excuse for being late would be. Mion said something nonsensical as well, imagining how funny the reason they were late must have been. I only come to school to see their energetic faces since I figured it would get rid of these feelings I have, but the load on my chest remained where it was. Wasn't very pleasant at all. Good morning, everyone. President, if you would.
Everybody stand up.
Our teacher finally arrived. Then finally I heard the pitter-patter of footsteps running down the hall. Clatter. Rika-chan was the first to run through the open door. And then Sadako didn't come.
Hmm.
If you fuck with my gremlin, I swear to God. You're late, Furude-san. Where is Hojo-san? It was unusual for Rika-chan to be late, but equally unusual for Sadako, a big ball of energy, to be absent at all. Everyone's eyes were wide at the series of strange events.
Sadako might be a little bit late.
Has she come down with something? Did she get up, come on, get down with the sickness? The teacher walked over to Rika-chan and they started talking in hushed tones. Interesting, okay.
Rika-chan is late and Sadako's absent. I guess crazy things can happen. You're right, but I wonder what happened to Sadako-chan. Is she sick?
Why now, when I most wanted to see Sadako's energetic face? The unease that had been building since last night tightened within my chest.
Kei-chan, you worry too much. Sometimes girls of her age can't help but stay homesick. Mi-chan, you're not supposed to say that around boys.
Okay, I mean, sure. It'd be weird if that happened in one route and not the others, but okay. Maybe Keiichi just didn't notice. Maybe. Mion laughed indecently. Normally I would laugh along with her, but right now I just didn't feel like it. Homeroom ended, and we went to talk to Rika-chan in the short time we had before first period. Hey, Rika-chan. You look so sad, so very sad when getting yelled at for being late. I'll make sure to pet you today. I was very aware of my gloom this morning, so I strove to keep my tone cheerful. I petted Rika-chan's head the same way she always did, but she didn't cheer up at all.
Meep.
It's a sadder meep.
Meep.
What happened to Sadako? Did she get sick? For instance, she got a fever from laying around too much yesterday. If that had been her response, I would have accepted it in a flash. But the atmosphere around Rika-chan felt somehow heavy. It was a little weird and actually made my unease worse.
Hey, come on. There are certain things she can't talk to boys about. Kei-chan, back to your seat.
Mion, acting just like a club president, pulled me back into my chair. Rika-chan's gaze immediately fell back to her desk and she hung her head gloomily. Rika-chan had said something odd, that Sadako might be a little bit late. They were living together, weren't they? And she would have known for sure. She wouldn't have said might. What would cause her to say might instead of knowing for sure in that case? Did Sadako go off with someone and Rika is worried about her? I didn't understand why she was absent, and that made me all the more anxious. Damn it, what's going on today? It's like we started off on the wrong foot and it wasn't going to get any better.
What's the matter, Keiichi-kun? You seem pretty down this morning.
Well, have you heard the soundtrack for today? It's all the same dour piano piece. Rena noticed how I looked and whispered to me while the teacher wasn't looking. Do I really seem that way?
Yeah. Even Rena is starting to feel down just looking at you.
But I'm trying so hard. Thought of jokingly saying, then don't look at me, but I didn't even feel like doing that.
Is it something you can tell Rena? I don't know what you're worried about, but if I can help, then you can tell me, okay?
Okay. I won't tease you. Rena said this, looking me straight in the eye. Well, until yesterday, nothing strange happened, and it was a lot of fun. Huh? Rena's eyes widened for a moment, not understanding what I meant, but she remained silent and listened. It was peaceful and fun. Every day was lively. Never had any doubt things would stay that way forever.
Yeah, you're right. Every day is fun. I'm sure today will be too.
You're sure? How do you know that?
Well...
Rena, feeling perplexed, couldn't think of something to say. I didn't blame her. What I was trying to say seemed a little confusing, even to me. When I think about it, I guess I've just been anxious lately. Maybe since every day is fun, one day, all of a sudden, it would just get really dark. Like a light bulb turned off, you know?
Yeah, Rena kind of understands how you feel.
It's like I've got all these negative, anxious, and depressive feelings that I'm keeping at bay by being manically happy most of the time. And the moment that's not there to keep me propped up and it all falls away, I feel like absolute ass. Rena nodded gently. I've always been taught that it wouldn't only be good things happening to us, right? Sometimes I'm just scared of what's going on behind the fun. It's a little bit sad, but because of that, we learned how to do our best to make sure that fun never stops, right?
I see.
Oh.
So it's not... Oh.
That's her explaining.
We swapped. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, whatever.
Okay. I see.
So it's not a bad thing that you think our fun lives might not go on forever, Keiichi-kun. Kind of like... Like if suddenly there was a volcanic eruption tomorrow, and everyone died.
A volcanic eruption tomorrow and everyone died? Ugh, that's so unrealistic, though. Hey, wait a minute, that's terrible!
If you were the only one who survived the catastrophe, Keiichi-kun, how would you feel?
How would I, Imagine myself being that sole survivor in the ruins of Hinamizawa. Rubble and the bodies of friends lying in heaps at my feet. It was such an aberrant sight. Was it sadder that all my friends had died? Or was it sadder that I couldn't have died alongside them? I didn't know which, but I'd probably cry a lot. Maybe get survivor's guilt. I don't know. Maybe that would drive me to want to save everyone in front of me or something unhealthy like that. There's a lot that could go on there. Probably break my heart. I think I'd cry first of all.
And then maybe you would think this. If this was my destiny, then I should have made sure every day before this was as fun as possible, so I had no regrets.
I didn't want to consider such a horrible event to be my destiny, but...
Anyway, I learned about volcanoes this one time, and this is how I've been coping since.
Do you have existential dread of volcanoes?
No.
Honestly, if you're going to be freaked out about any potential volcano, you should probably be freaked out about the super volcano in the middle of the North American continent. If that shit goes up, the whole world might be fucked.
I don't know this one. Is this a new fear I should have unlocked?
What, the super volcano?
Yeah, what is that?
Oh, wait, so you know how, like, most of the central U.S. around, like, Wyoming and such is in the caldera of a giant supervolcano?
No.
Oh.
Is that a thing that people know?
Yes it is.
Huh.
I'll show some stuff on it to you sometime. It's fucked up. I would probably think... Oh, this is Rena.
The other line wasn't.
I probably would think that, you know.
The fun times will end one day, and nobody knows when they will. It makes sense to live each day to the fullest, so that if it does happen tomorrow, you don't regret anything.
Yeah.
It's really hard to think like that. A lot of people take their everyday happiness for granted. They think tomorrow will be the same as today, so they leave things they could do today for tomorrow. They leave the kindness they could have shown today until tomorrow.
Rena was usually cheerful and silly, but right now she wasn't like that at all. She was taking my troubles seriously. It was a little reassuring.
But Keiichi-kun, you realized it. I think that's a wonderful thing. So that unease you have, I think you should keep it close to your heart.
Keep my unease close?
Yes. Everyone might die tomorrow in a big catastrophe. So you should be really nice to everyone today. So when the end really does come, you don't regret it.
Huh. Do you do that, Rena? Live like you would have no regrets if everyone died tomorrow?
Yep.
It was such a hyperbolic conversation, but Rena just gave me a nonchalant nod of her head.
Rena knows what it's like for the fun times to end overnight. She knows there's no proof tomorrow will be fun, even if today is. I'm living life to the fullest.
Seemed like Rena perfectly understood all the anxiety I couldn't put into words. And on top of that, like a reliable teacher, she showed me what to do. Oh, hey, Keiichi Maebara. There's no need to cry now. Last night, I think I had a dream about Sadako. I don't remember what kind of dream it was, but ever since this morning, I felt anxious.
Because you thought seeing Sadako-chan's energetic face would cheer you up, right?
She was right on the money. If everyone had been there with smiles on their faces this morning, the work in my heart would have definitely been blown to smithereens.
Then, if Sadako-chan arrives, you'll have to be nice to her. Actually, it's totally fine if you play your usual pranks on each other, as long as you're having fun.
Yeah, you're right. So that even if these fun days came to an end, I'd have no regrets. Couldn't tell if what Rena told me had been comforting or just made me more anxious, but it was enough to make me think that if I saw Sadako again, I'd be honest with her. Lunchtime arrived with everyone pushing their desks together like always. Sadako wasn't here. Despite that, we had bento boxes for 5 lined up on our desks. Rika-chan had made a bento for Sadako anyway. So interesting. She made a bento for Sadako anyway. Sadako is with someone? With her uncle? Didn't we just learn something about her uncle at the end of last episode?
Yeah, we learned that the identity of the victim in the disembowelment murder was his partner, his girlfriend.
His girlfriend, huh?
Yeah.
And so I wonder if things aren't going well for Sadako's uncle right now. And by not going well, I mean he doesn't seem like a well person, but...
What makes you say that?
What do you mean, what makes me say that? The last 2 of his partners have ended up beaten and dead. All right? I'm not saying the only explanation is that it's his fault. I'm just saying, with no other evidence on the table here, what else do you want me to believe?
If you had a nickel for each time it happened, you'd be 10 cents richer and have PTSD.
I wonder if that's another factor then that we haven't seen come into play because we haven't been close enough to Sadako to really see it happen. Maybe Sadako's uncle suddenly coming back into her life, forcibly and maybe rather manically, might... And that's not something Sadako really likes to talk about, but it might explain why Sadako suddenly disappears off the face of the earth. In a lot of these. But then that doesn't explain how her body ends up in the... That doesn't explain how her body ends up in the Sonozaki well.
Yeah.
That's the part that makes it harder to believe. Well, we'll have to think about that.
Was Sadako supposed to be here before lunch?
Rika-chan was clearly acting strangely. We were all talking to her, but it felt like she was too far away to hear us. Never seen Rika-chan so downcast, so the rest of us started feeling down too. Hey, Rena. I understood what she had said before pretty well. When we were together, we were supposed to have lots of fun, so we wouldn't have any regrets if the world ended tomorrow. And yet, while I just resolved myself to do it, now we can't all be together. What the hell? Because it was just so sudden, wasn't it? And yesterday was fun, so who could believe it would all end today? No volcanoes had erupted. No earthquakes or fires had happened either. The cicadas were making the same noises they did yesterday, and the sun remained bright in the sky. The same normal day as always. So then why? I wonder if Sadako's uncle becoming involved in Sadako's life again is tied to when the body of his partner is discovered. There was some idle chatter among the police folk that perhaps the body was meant to not be found, but chance circumstance had led it to be found instead.
Yep.
You know what I
and
mean?
that she had been absent from his life for some time, but he had been just like, oh, I guess she ran off. I'm going to go look for her.
Right. But because of something happened, her body was discovered and identified, and maybe that spurs Sadako's uncle into action faster than he had been on other routes.
Maybe so.
And Rika seems to have this thing where, like, she knows Sadako. Like, she has the anxiety not of, I don't know where Sadako is, but I know exactly where Sadako is, and it's worrying me that she won't come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she's not saying Sadako's missing. Oh, I know, I need help finding Sadako. She is trying her best to plan as if Sadako will come back and dreading that she won't.
Yep.
So, As I pondered, Rena's chopsticks reached in front of my face and stole the fried chicken out of my bento. Hey!
If no one else wants it, Rena will take it. Delicious.
My juicy fried chicken number 1! Rena tossed the entire piece into her mouth and began munching on it, her expression one of bliss.
I'm such an old man. Rena got a leg up on me. All right. This old man's taking this bit of steak here. Meep. All my food is gone except my rice.
Rika-chan, also behind the curve, smiled again and went for someone else's bento. As I sat there dazed at how quickly everyone had changed, Rena sent a wink over to me. Come on, Keiichi-kun. Live life to the fullest. That way if a volcano erupts tomorrow, it'll be okay. Star. Ugh. This is serious. I'll be damned if dried plums and rice are the only things I have left for lunch. I'm taking that meatball. I stuffed the meat into my mouth and constructed a clumsy smile. I played along as if trying to fool myself. But as I did, it rapidly became less and less of an act. That's true. Feeling down is kind of self-reinforcing like that.
Yep.
And so is feeling up. That's why the phrase "fake it till you'll make it" exists, right? Like, I hate it. It's dumb. But there is like a physiological thing to, like, if you keep yourself acting happy and putting yourself in happier situations, even if you're not feeling it, the happiness is kind of like infectious that way. Like, it will turn around. I don't like it as a general piece of cliched advice to give to someone because it doesn't help with whatever's making them feel bad. But
yep.
Still. Sadako still wasn't here, but at some point we had regained our lively lunchtime. We had fun, we smiled, and we fooled around. Thanks, everyone. This was definitely the best thing to do. This way, when Sadako suddenly dropped by, we could welcome her with our best smiles. The more I smiled, the more I felt anxiety from this morning clear away. Wasn't there a proverb that when something like fortune comes in by a merry gate?
I think so. If it's true, then this old man will roll around the floor laughing 24/7.
Fortune comes in by a merry gate? I'm not familiar with something like that.
Nor am I.
Fortune favors the bold. That's not quite it.
Rena thinks it's true. If you laugh every day, it'll be fun every day. Rena has a way with words.
Then, should we try it out? Everyone took a deep breath and brought their faces together, locking shoulders. And then... Everyone laughed uproariously from their stomachs, trying to laugh out all the bad stuff accumulating in them. By the time our bento boxes were empty, everyone was right as rain. But seriously, though, can I please have another one of those meatballs? You took all of my fried chicken. That was uncalled for.
Rena's advice has me thinking about my own counter-anxiety technique, which is watching comedies. It just works. You can't simultaneously be chuckling at the humor of a thing and also feel sickening dread. It's one or the other.
I think it's also important that they're familiar comedies.
Yeah.
It's not the humor of an unknown thing. It's the welcome familiarity humor familiar humor of something you've known.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure I could get Vivian to write the entire script out for each episode of Black Books if I tried.
Oh, almost assuredly.
Having heard our friendly banter, Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun walked up and timidly spoke to us. Excuse me, Maebara-san. Sorry to interrupt your fun, but,
We need your help with something.
They grinned dryly and scratched their heads. What could it be? Want to know how to remove the censor bars in porn magazines? By the way, don't believe what you hear about butter doing the trick. Total superstition. You can't use an eraser either. Wait, what? Seriously?
That's not what we're here for,
said Tomita-kun, elbowing Okamura-kun. Actually, our ball got caught in the gutter on the second floor. I think you might be able to reach it since you're tall. Well, there's the second floor of the building. I guess we've seen it from the outside, yeah, but... I see. Asking an upperclassman for help comes with its own price, you know. I'm not cheap. You can't buy me out so easily. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun conversed for a short time, then gave the reply.
We'll give you the right to take a nap during class, Maebara-san. How does that sound?
Well, what do you mean? I can sleep during class whenever I want. Why do I need your permission for it? Oh, no, you can't. Next time you take a nap, we'll tell Sensei about it. Wait, so this is just extortion? What the hell? So this is just a threat.
I see. How sly.
You little, where did you learn to bargain like that, huh? Ugh. Sorry, it was just a little joke.
Come on, Kei-chan. Why not just cave into your underclassman's threats?
And now Mion was getting on my nerves. Suddenly came to me and I looked Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun. I took both of their hands. All right, I surrender. I'll get your ball for you. So give me all the rights to nap time. Huh? Okay. Look, Mion, I now have the privilege. But you don't, do you? Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun. Tell me on Mion as soon as she falls asleep. You got that?
Yeah.
Rena and Rika-chan began to cackle at Keiichi-kun's victory. Yeah, it does have a second floor.
Yep.
I wasn't exactly sure how the ball managed to get stuck up there, but it was planted firmly in the school's building's second floor gutter. What do you mean you're not sure how it got... Kids love throwing balls. They love throwing balls really high and really far and in places and directions they shouldn't be. What is so hard to understand about this?
It's like, how did it get up there? Obviously because they were throwing it at the gutter. You have been a child, right? This is a thing kids do. You tell them not to put the ball somewhere, you're gonna find it there.
Exactly. All right, hand me that stick. I should be able to reach it. Here we go. Ugh. I took a bamboo pole and poked the ball with it. Ugh, damn, that's hard. Come on! Oh, you got it, Maebara-san. Thank you so much. The ball rolled down the gutter and fell down behind the school building. My underclassmen ran over in that direction, leaving me by myself. Mission complete, I suppose. Sheesh. Still a lot of time left until lunch break was over. Guess I could go back to the classroom. I'd absorb myself in a silly conversation with everyone and wait for afternoon classes. Just when I thought that and turned toward the entrance, someone suddenly called out to me. Why the fuck are you here? What happened? Why are you here for me? Honestly, what did I do this time? I have done nothing. I have associated with no one, and I've done... What the fuck do you want, you specter of death? Well, now, I ain't rightly know where all that came from, but...
So, who do you think he's going to be suspecting this time? We've had him push Keiichi to be sus of Rena, of Mion. Who do you think it is now?
It's going to be Sadako, right? It's got to be. Well, hello there. Good day. Sorry for bothering you during your lunch break. It was a middle-aged man I didn't know, but he was wearing a banana suit, so... Maybe I just passed him by a few times and I'd seen his face, but I didn't know him. When his half-smile deepened, something within me shuddered with fear. There was no basis for that, but no reason, but I shuddered. I was somewhat confused about those emotions, not quite understanding them myself. There was one thing I could say, though. Nobody but teachers and students should be at school. This person should not be here. I felt less of a tremble and more of a sense of dread, like a caterpillar brilliantly colored in garish bilious greens were crawling across my forehead. A feeling of disgust that neither itchy nor gross could describe as the frizzly, dreadful hair rubbed against my brow. I didn't even want to see his face. I wanted to jump backwards and run away.
Shots fired at caterpillars.
Caterpillars are cute.
Remember that time that I had a caterpillar?
I do remember that time. It was a
Good
friend.
times.
Keiichi does a 360 and walks away. Well, hey there, son. Don't you mean a 180 and not a 360? Shut up! I'm facing cops and walking backwards into hell. An unpleasant feeling for which I didn't even know the cause. The other side of myself was nothing but questions. Hey, what are you doing? What are you disgusted by? It's the first time you've ever met this guy. It's rude to hate someone for no reason, right? But no answers were coming. I held my silence, waiting, a damp sweat running down my forehead. When he saw that, Oishi thought maybe he was being intimidating and gave me a relaxed smile. He hasn't introduced himself yet, and already the narration's calling him Oishi.
Yeah.
Is that just narration being silly, or is
I think
Keiichi...
so.
Okay, Keiichi's not unlocking the memories of his past lives?
You
Keiichi
never know.
Maebara, who can recall his past lives?
You never know.
Oh, please excuse me. I'm no one suspicious, I assure you. I'm Oishi from the Okonomiya Police Department. Oh, wait, now, where did I put my card? Well, now, what? This is, what? He fished through various pockets, then finally found his police ID and showed it to me, grinning dryly. May have been trying to use those clumsy-seeming actions to ease my anxiety, but I could definitely say it did not work. Why was I thus nervous? There was a reason, of course. If I wanted today to be the same as before, then today didn't need someone who hadn't been there back then. The fact that a man who wasn't here yesterday showed up today meant that today would be a different day than those before it. That would mark the end of the fun and happy days. I gulped and erased that ominous conclusion from my mind. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. It's just an old guy who looks kind of perverted and came from the police department. Don't go deciding that the fun times are over. He just came here because of his job. Yeah, just for his job. He's working that he normally go to the teacher's lounge, right? The fact that he spoke to me must have been to ask where it was. Are you looking for the teacher's lounge? You just have to go through the entrance right there, and, I didn't want to look at this man for another second, so I started pushing things along. Oishi, however, didn't seem to have any interest in the teacher's lounge. Oh, no, I don't have nothing to do over there. Could I get you to, call a friend of yours, if I might be so bold? A friend? Who? A girl. Could you call Sadako Hojo-san for me? How does he already knows Keiichi's friends with her? I guess because he's got his eye on people in the Sonozaki orbit, right?
And also, Hinamizawa was small enough that...
New kid in town.
Yeah,
big
like...
news. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Also.
Small enough that it would be hard not to know, like...
Yep. Could you call that Sadako Hojo-san for me? My consciousness grew faint, like I was about to pass out. Yes, my anxiety was realized. The dreadful, disgusting caterpillar was looking at me, about to crawl into my ear. Its frizzly, dreadful hair was touching my ear cavity. That's how bad it felt. What do the police need with Sadako? Oh, no. It ain't nothing important. I just had 2 or 3 things to ask her. I'd like it if you could cooperate with me. Why? Why of all people was it Sadako? Why had a police officer come here in the middle of the day for something that wasn't important? This man was strange. I could smell it. It smelled bad. Just a whiff of it made me want to grimace. Ugh. Axe body spray. Had he no pride? I knew that this man couldn't possibly be here to deliver her lost wallet or anything. I couldn't imagine what he needed from Sadako, but it had to be something unpleasant. My throat stung with burning pain, burned in like a parched, creviced wasteland. The wasteland broke apart deep in my throat and brought out the words deep in my mind. You may need something from her, but I don't think Sadako needs anything from you. Could you please leave? Oishi probably hadn't expected that reply. He stood there surprised for a few moments. I did as well. I hadn't thought words like that could ever come out of my mouth. Things might still work out. This guy might have shown up out of the blue, but if I drove him off, maybe I could make it so that it never happened. If I could do that, then I could get back. The peace we had until yesterday, I could get it back. Well. You sure are strict now, aren't you? Are you Sadako-san's manager, perhaps? Manager, huh? The manager? Can I not see her without an appointment? If you just want to talk to her, shouldn't you just call her? Barging into school in the middle of the day isn't normal. Breaking through a dam would have been the perfect analogy to use. Why didn't I like this man? This man shouldn't have been here. I needed to make it so this man wasn't here. Childish, selfish emotions bubbled up from the depths of my mind, and each came out of my mouth just as it had been formed. Not liking this guy was my own problem, but to say things so bluntly to him, even I thought it was crazy. Oh, well, you the logical soul, ain't you? I ain't too good with people who talk like that, so, Oishi grinned and scratched at his sweaty throat. Even as he feigned stupidity, I could tell that he was irritated. He's not used to having someone actually clap back at him like this, is he? Oishi's used to be able to be on top of almost every situation because he seems to have a lot of prep work done into the people he's talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Keiichi Maebara, why am I looking for a fight with this old policeman here? It's not like he brought the gift of misfortune with him all wrapped up in paper, right?
He totes did, though.
Right. It wasn't like he had brought a package of misfortune with him and was asking me to sign here, please. Rationally speaking, I understood all that, so then why was I so... Finally, I outlasted Oishi in our game of silence, and he gave a big sigh. Then he addressed a few of my female underclassmen running around nearby. Oh, excuse me, all you. Do you all have a moment? I'd like you to call Sadako Hojo-san, if you could. My underclassmen tried to smile and reply, but they noticed the oddly stiff atmosphere around me and seemed hesitant to give a quick answer. Ain't she here? Sadako Hojo-san.
Hojo-san, she stayed home today.
Huh. She stayed home. His face remained smiling, but his tone was clearly one of ill humor. Such conspicuous spite caused my underclassmen who had answered honestly to cringe in fear. I see. Well, dear me, I am quite unlucky. He was smiling broadly, but the way he laughed didn't make me feel better at all. When he noticed that his laughter wasn't getting anyone else to laugh with him, he immediately stopped. So, you girls, could you tell me the name of this boy here? Like you don't already know his name. He grabbed the girls by the shoulders so they wouldn't run away and crouched down to address them at eye level. The girls flinched away from the sharp, piercing light in his eyes. In exchange for their release, they didn't resist and told him my name. I see. Keiichi Maebara-san, is that it? He said my full name. That was all he said, and yet I couldn't help but shudder. You already knew who he was before you got here, though. Otherwise, you wouldn't have approached him. It's like he grabbed me by the collar just with those words. Oh, could you be the son of the Maebara family I heard so much about? I hear your father is a renowned artist. His works go on display twice a year in the great exhibition in Tokyo, don't they? Are they referring to Comic-Con? or Comic-Cat? Sorry. That's what they're referring to, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what they mean. Oh, how did I? It really just got caught up in magazine. I think that was what did it. I should have seen it sooner.
You were correct to be incredibly sus of him, but what you didn't realize is that
he just draws femboys.
that was why to be sus of him.
I don't know what sort of fantastic pictures he done create though. Then there's your mother. She seems rather intelligent too. I heard she was a high academic achiever. She went to some girls' university, didn't she? It's amazing for someone that age to have graduated from a girls' university. Could your other actually be the daughter of a respectable family? At least, those are the rumors, and they say she's a cold person because of it. Did you know that? Are you just being a sore loser, Oishi? Keiichi got one up on you, and now you need to regain control because some kid shat on you once? She only went to the very first neighborhood association meeting, ain't that right? That's certainly no good. You can't disrespect your neighbors in a place like this. A sense of eeriness slithered up my spine. That was my first experience of true terror. I couldn't believe it felt this terrible for someone you've just met to know everything about you already. Oishi clamped onto my shoulders and brought his eyes close to peer into mine. In a place like this, it would be far better not to make enemies now, wouldn't you say? If not... Ow! Oishi dug into my shoulders with inhuman strength. Ugh. Then if something unexpected were to happen, you might see some drawbacks. Ain't you heard of karma? It's like how a butterfly flapping its wings can cause a tornado. These are two different things, but I'm going to conflate them into being the same thing for the purposes of intimidating a young child. Grudges born in strange places could come back to you in ways you would not believe. You wouldn't like that now, would you, Maebara-san? No one wants a grudge against them. There ain't nothing positive about making enemies. No, huh? What's the matter? Your shoulders are all so very stiff. Should I give you a massage? You see, that feels good now, don't it? Ow, ow, ow! This man wasn't just strong, it was like he knew exactly where to press to make me feel pain. Only 4 to 5 fingers were on my shoulders, and yet the pain made me want to bend over backwards. A few of the girls from my class were pretty shaken up, but didn't seem to want to help me. They weren't sure if they should go call the teacher. As for me, I couldn't take the time to wait until the teacher got here. Ugh! It hurts!
Would you mind leaving things... Oh,
that's Coach.
okay. Would you mind leaving things at that? You're hurting him.
Huh? Behind Oishi-san, someone, to my disbelief, it was Coach. Oh, my. If it ain't Dr. Eerie. That's how Oishi pronounces it, right?
Dr. Irie.
Irie? Irie or Eerie?
I don't know which is funnier.
Which is funnier? Oh my, if it ain't Dr. Irie. You mind if I call you Irene, Doctor? It's certainly been a while since we were last in touch. Discomforted by Coach's sudden appearance, Oishi laughed scornfully. Oh no, there's an adult around when I'm trying to pick on young children. Whatever will I do? The vise on my shoulders, however, remained as strong as ever.
Never mind the greetings. Please just let go of my Barakun.
Oishi smiled daringly and glared straight at Coach. He didn't release me in the meantime, of course. Well, I was just thinking of stopping by your place later, Doctor. You always seem so busy, and we could never have a good chat now, can we?
Yes, if you want, I'll chat with you all you like, but please be sure to have a warrant first. After all, otherwise I can refuse to go voluntarily into questioning.
Damn! Dr. Irie, you are a creepy son of a bitch, but you know your rights. Coach didn't display a shred of the weird behavior he'd shown at the baseball game and barbecue. He stared steadily at Oishi and fought so that he would release me. His chances were terribly bad, of course. Compared to the relaxed Oishi, Coach seemed like he was being defeated mentally. It made sense. Coach had a somewhat narrow stature, but Oishi's body was packed with muscles. It wasn't even a contest. But Coach was fighting for me, without even taking a step back. Beads of sweat formed on his face, and though he paled, he was fighting for my sake. Suddenly, Oishi laughed and let go of my shoulders. My body exhausted, I fell right onto my backside.
Maebara-kun, are you alright?
Ugh, damn it, ow! I rubbed my shoulders where Oishi had latched onto them. The pain from falling over went away quickly, but this pain was lingering.
Are you alright, Maebara-kun? This is terrible.
Shit, ow! I was just giving him a little massage, that's all. Maebara-san. Ain't you over-exaggerating just a bit? Boys have got to learn how to man up now, don't they? I wanted to retort, but I couldn't think of anything witty.
Can you lift your shoulders? Are they in pain? If you're really hurt, then you should have a proper checkup. Let's just go to the nurse's office.
Coach lent me his shoulder and walked beside me. What an exaggeration. I'd be the last person to do any sort of permanent damage. Ain't that right? I am still an active police officer, you know. Okay, so hold on. There's a history there, right? Irie says he can't come in without a warrant, which means he's tried to intimidate Irie before.
Absolutely.
And Oishi is here making a vague reference to some kind of permanent damage because he's still a police officer. So whatever he did in their past didn't count as permanent damage. So what the fuck happened in their past? Oh, shit. What happened between the two of them? This is good. This is pretty juicy, ain't it?
Come, I don't know what you needed to be here for, but if you're finished, then please leave. I'm going to complain about this directly to the chief, so please keep that in mind.
Oh, well, that's a problem, ain't it? Oishi-san waved his hand sarcastically, pivoted around, and headed to the car parked by the school gates. Oh, man. And without turning back around, he got in and started the engine. Damn it. I bet he even has AC in there and everything. Who the hell was he? Damn it.
He's a detective named Kurado Oishi. And a hooligan. Everyone in the village hates him. Maebara-san, you should be careful too.
Kurado Oishi. Just like I thought, my gut instinct wasn't wrong. He would be the one to bring unhappiness, misfortune, something that would ruin our peace. Shit. I won't accept it. All these fun days can't possibly end just because some guy like him showed up. I won't accept it. Coach seemed to be familiar with the school, so he brought me to the nurse's office without much trouble. The girls from my class came along as well, looking worried. Our teacher and the principal, having noticed the disturbance, came to see what was the matter. Maebara-kun, what's wrong? Are you hurt? Well, there was this weird man in the schoolyard just now. Oh.
Well, there was this weird man in the schoolyard just now, and Maebara-san...
Coach gently interrupted the girls, trying to explain.
No, it looks like he just fell and twisted something. I think he's all right, but I wanted to make sure. If it's fine with you, I'll borrow the nurse's office for a bit.
Please do, Dr. Irie. The principal gave him a deep bow. Looked like Coach was acquainted with the adults at school. Okay, this is just background reuse, right? Because this is the hospital room Keiichi was in at the very end of chapter 2.
Yeah, presumably.
I think this is just background reuse, but I certainly had a moment. He slid the doors open to the nurse's office, but there wasn't a nurse in there or anything. I'd figured. Never seen anyone but Chie-sensei and the principal working here, after all. Coach didn't seem to mind the fact that there was no nurse, and quickly made his way to the nurse's office. He instructed me to sit down and started washing his hands in the sink. Oh, I get it. He's the coach for the boys' baseball team, huh? Must be pretty used to treating wounds with first aid.
Could you show me where it was? Are you still in pain?
No, it doesn't hurt at all anymore. I'm fine, really. I rolled up my shirt and showed him my shoulder. No bruise, not even nail marks. And yet it had hurt so much I thought my shoulders would be crushed. Even the pain had disappeared without a trace. It hurt so much, but not so much as a bruise remained.
It just means he's used to doing that.
Used to it, huh?
The next time you meet, don't provoke him. Nothing good will come of making him angry. If you go home with a uniformed policeman by your side, your family won't like that, will they?
Well, you're right.
Still, what happened? Why did you end up in a fight with him?
Oh no, now Coach is gonna find out that Sadako's in danger. Oh no. He came up and said he needed something from Sadako. Wait, why is Coach even here?
Yeah, why is Coach even here?
Sorry, I feel like I was too busy thinking about how, like, Keiichi got saved by him, and, like, was he just, like, about town and saw Oishi and decided to step in and save Keiichi, which, you know, good. But this is pretty far away from the Irie clinic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So...
I'm here because I wanted to see if you could go get Sadako for me.
Oh, motherfucker! He came up and said he needed something from Sadako.
Huh? Sadako-chan.
Coach's gaze lowered and his expression clouded a bit. Somehow that gesture seemed to be saying Oishi was bound to come to Sadako, and did, and that it was no laughing matter. Coach fell silent in thought. Quietly, he took a compress out of the first aid kit and put it on me.
Does he still plan on clinging to Sadako-chan? He's a persistent man, I'll give him that, like a snake.
Clinging to Sadako-chan. Still plan on clinging to Sadako-chan. Was I right? Is Oishi her uncle?
That wouldn't make sense given that he was in the previous scene talking about her uncle. Not the previous scene, in the between scenes.
Yeah.
We also know the uncle's name.
Yeah, that's true. Ugh. Well, then what does it mean for him to be clinging to Sadako-chan?
What indeed?
Coach mumbled to himself. Cling? Does that Oishi guy go to Sadako's place a lot? Coach didn't answer, but the lack of a denial served well enough. What would Coach want with Sadako? Sadako's family and her aunt were all victims of the ongoing Watanagashi murders. Maybe he wants Sadako's cooperation to help him get to the Sonozakis? What on earth did the policeman, probably a detective or something, would need from Sadako? What mistake had led a detective to cling to the sweetly smiling Sadako?
Maebara-san? Oh, right. You just moved here, didn't you?
Yes, I did, but...
Have you heard anything about Oyashiro-sama's curse and about Sadako-chan?
Well, I knew a few things about it, certainly.
Sadako's parents were dam proponents, and their accidental death was because of
Sadako's parents were dam proponents, and their accidental death was because of the curse? You mean that? You took the words right out of my mouth. Coach smiled thinly and dryly.
So you know,
he said, dropping his gaze. If I recall correctly, there was an accident on a viewing platform at the public park she'd gone to with her family, and then her parents died. I like how there's enough ambiguity for us to be suspicious if Sadako pushed them or not, but no, it was an accident. I'm calling that one. That one literally was an accident. Sadako has done nothing wrong. And then it was just big brother and little sister, and then she was with Rika-chan, and,
When they lost their parents, Sadako-chan and her brother, Satoshi-kun, were given to their uncle and his wife to care for them.
Oh, is that so? Their parents died in an accident, and Satoshi ran away, leaving only Sadako to start living with Rika-chan. I know that much, but this was the first time I'd heard they'd been brought to their uncle and aunt.
Their uncle was Sadako-chan's father's younger brother.
Yep.
Unfortunately, neither of the couple were people deserving of respect.
Coach normally picked his words politely. So when he came out and said they didn't deserve respect, it really made me wonder what kind of people they were.
As soon as Sadako-chan's parents came out in support of the dam, their uncle and aunt took on a lot of the shame in the village as well. They would never have welcomed in Sadako-chan and Satoshi-kun. I've heard that for the siblings, it was a very rough life.
We've kind of had this implied, but this is the first time we've had it directly stated. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That it was not good for them living with their uncle and aunt. Bit by bit, Coach told me about the numerous agonies the Hojo siblings had suffered at their uncle's house. As their guardians, their aunt and uncle sucked up everything belonging to their immediate family. Sadako and Satoshi were crammed into a small room, and their lives were laden with things that were miserable for both their bodies and minds. In the first place, since apparently their aunt and uncle weren't on good terms, there was no end to their fighting. And as if in revenge for that, whenever they saw Sadako or Satoshi's face, they would always find fault with them, scold them, yell at them, strike them, and take away meals as punishment.
I still shudder to think about it. You've never known any Sadako but the energetic and healthy one now, so you probably couldn't imagine her face being so deathly pale, a girl always standing dazed in the shade of trees.
I couldn't imagine it, and I didn't want to. That was how I honestly felt. But at the very least, Sadako wasn't like that anymore. She may have had a miserable life in the past, but it was different now. Something happened to change that life.
Last year, on the night of the Watanagashi
The
festival,
Watanagashi has an aunt?
their aunt died. She was beaten to death by a deviant with a baseball bat.
Deviant with a baseball bat, huh?
Rumors spread of the curse having killed an enemy of the village on the night of the festival. This death wasn't a simple homicide either. They whispered that it was actually Oyashiro-sama's curse.
Just throwing this out here. Did Satoshi beat his own aunt to death?
No way to know.
We know he was acting erratic and carrying around a baseball bat before he disappeared.
We do know
and
that.
him murdering his own aunt would be a good reason for him to disappear. Wouldn't it?
Then
That would be
who's-
like one of the few reasons he would need to disappear and leave Sadako with his uncle. Because otherwise he seems like the kind of brother that wouldn't leave Sadako alone. At least from what we know about him. But if, say, Satoshi beat his own aunt to death to stop their abuse and then ran away, we know there's someone in jail, but we also know that, or at least it's been my theory for a while, that the Sonozakis can get patsies for that and have been doing so.
We also know there's not someone in jail anymore.
Yep.
They had jailed a culprit, but that culprit died in custody,
Right, the culprit died in custody after choking on a spork.
as one does.
Unknown whether or not they, if they choked on it or if it was suicide. Those being the only two options.
So, if you were to argue
Yep.
that Satoshi did the killing,
Yep.
who's the person they locked up?
It's a good question. It could be Satoshi, couldn't it? Maybe it was Satoshi and everyone's being tight-lipped about it, but that doesn't seem right because they would have... His name would have come up in that context at some point, rather than just a deviant. So... a patsy from the Sonozakis, maybe? Who was locked up? Who was locked up? Great question. I'll have to think about it. Maybe it was Satoshi. How would that work? So then the people close to them would know that he had died in jail after saving Sadako, but didn't want Sadako to know that Satoshi had died saving her from their aunt. And so agreed to be like, all right, around Sadako until she gets older, we're just going to say he ran away. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh no?
Oh, no. Oh, did you read that line, whatever it was?
Yeah. A few days later, the deviant arrested for drug use confessed to further offenses and the incident was resolved. However, though it was resolved, no one knew whether the part about it being Oyashiro-sama's curse was true or not. Their uncle is part of Hinamizawa after all. He apparently grew incredibly frightened of Oyashiro-sama's curse and went into hiding. From what I've heard, he's staying with an intimate lady friend somewhere in Okinomiya.
But I was saying it was probably his uncle that killed. Because his uncle apparently has also beaten another woman. Much to think about. And Sadako and Satoshi, were they released?
Their aunt died and their uncle fled. There was nobody left to torment the siblings then, but as if picking up their torch, that man started showing up with alarming tenacity.
Oh no. That man Because we know Oishi likes to show up at folks' home before the Watanagashi and harass them, the families. Wasn't that part of what we learned about him in chapter 1?
Yep.
Then Coach lowered his voice just a bit, as if being aware of his surroundings.
I mean Oishi.
Oishi, the guy from before. The events that just occurred came back to me. The hard-to-describe ominous sensation I'd felt from him came back.
He's a little strange. The chain of incidents surrounding Oyashiro-sama's curse have all been solved, and yet he alone doesn't want to accept that.
Accept it? The incidents were all solved, and a detective supposedly with the police department didn't accept that?
People say that something bad will surely happen to those he gets close to. In Hinamizawa, they think Oishi is Oyashiro-sama's. Kei-chan!
The bringer of death, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The door flew open with a rattle, and Mion came rushing in. Rena and Rika-chan came running at a few steps behind her. Then Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun, and a few more of our classmates.
Kei-chan, did Oishi do something to you? Are you hurt? Do I need to call in a hit?
Something tells me that if you had the capacity to do that, you would have done it already.
No, he's more useful alive. For now.
This is
Calm
Coach.
down, Mion-san. He's not injured. I only gave him a compress just in case. Keiichi-kun, are you really okay? Okay? Everyone was saying stuff about how you were being strangled.
Calm down, Rena. I wasn't strangled. He just squeezed my shoulders really hard. It's not even a bruise.
Meep.
Rika's like, all right, on the list he goes.
And Oishi-san is found dead a couple days later.
Is this the first time that the entire group of friends, Sound Sadako, have been kind of like known that Oishi was trying to probe at Keiichi like this?
I think so.
Obviously, Rena started working with Oishi at some point during chapter 2.
Yep.
But is this the first time that they kind of got winded with it before it became a big thing?
Yeah, I think
and they're
so.
like, what the hell? Get away from our guy.
You get your hands off our boyfriend.
What?
Jeez, what the heck were you all doing? We're friends, right? Why were you just standing around? Why didn't you help Kei-chan?
We're sorry, President. Mion yelled at our classmates, baring her fangs. Tomita-kun and the others hung their heads in silence.
You know how this Hinamizawa stuff works, right?
The Hinamizawa stuff or the Sonozaki stuff? Quit it, Mion. Tomita-kun and the others weren't even there. Stop blaming them, please.
Damn it. Oishi.
Mion kicked the floor with her heel a few times, her temper running hot. Our teacher, overhearing the commotion, arrived as well. Hey, come on, everyone. Don't make so much noise in the nurse's office. President, take everyone and leave, please.
Come on, everyone. Let's get going.
You're not the president, Rena.
I'm the president of Cute.
That's
Keiichi-kun is fine.
not an elected position.
That's the best part. You too, Mi-chan.
Mion was letting her emotions get the best of her, so Rena stepped in instead and let everyone out of the nurse's office. The detective from Okonomiya Station, Kurado Oishi, looked like the first impression I'd gotten from him hadn't been mistaken. Sadako's absence had amplified the vague apprehensions I'd felt since yesterday, and Oishi's appearance basically sealed the deal.
All right. I'll get going. I originally came here for Chie-sensei.
Oh, so you had something to do here, huh? Sorry for causing you trouble,
Don't be so humble.
he said, smiling easily. Okay, so there's at least an explanation for why he was here.
There was a side benefit to all this. I was lucky enough to experience so much of your soft, silky skin, Maebara-kun.
With the usual, for Coach anyway, parting words, he instead continued.
Please excuse me. You weren't wounded badly, but please avoid putting pressure on your shoulders or anything along those lines. If you get a high fever or it starts to swell, contact me right away, okay? I don't think it'll happen, though.
Oh, that's right, Coach. Before everyone came in, you were going to say something about what people think Oishi is to Oyashiro-sama. As he was about to leave the nurse's office, Coach placed a hand on the door and stopped.
Right. They think he's Oyashiro-sama's servant. They're just bad-mouthing him, though.
Oyashiro-sama's servant?
Do you know about the serial freak death incidents that occur in Hinamizawa every year on the night of the Watanagashi festival? Otherwise known as Oyashiro-sama's curse.
What? Freak deaths? What? I thought about it. I did seem to remember overhearing Mion or someone in class talking about it like a ghost story. Mion wouldn't talk about that in class. On the festival day in June, one person would always die. Another person would always be spirited away, but they seem to call it demoning away here. What a fine story that was. Figured they made it up to scare me, but it was true?
I don't have any idea who first suggested this, but at some point, everyone started calling Oishi Oyashiro-sama's servant.
Why?
Because the rumors go that he decides the sacrifices for the curse every year.
I don't believe that, but okay. Whenever June came around, Oishi would start paying frequent visits to Hinamizawa.
Because Oishi had been persistently questioning most of the dead or disappeared people.
4 years ago, it was known that the victim of the dismemberment, rumored to be the sacrifice, had been seeing Oishi numerous times leading up to the incident. Really? That's new?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That is new. So that would be the foreman, right?
Yep.
Okay. Is this just Sonozaki? Is it just other way around where he keeps coming around trying to get someone to help him get close to the Sonozakis and they wind up killing whoever he tries to get close to? Is that it? Have we got cause and effect backwards here? The sacrifices 3 years ago were in Sadako's parents. Right before their accidental deaths, Oishi had apparently visited their home. The one who disappeared 2 years ago was Rika-chan's mother. And again, people know that before she vanished, Oishi had been talking to her extremely frequently. The one who disappeared last year, Sadako's older brother, Satoshi. Satoshi, too, had apparently been approached by Oishi many times before he vanished. And then this year, this time Oishi was trying to contact Sadako? If that's true, then he's trying to make Keiichi the one that dies, huh? It seems. Since he's the one he keeps getting approached. This isn't a freaking joke!
There are rumors, Maebara-san. There's just some rumors to that effect.
Ugh. I hadn't said that because of the rumors of Oishi being Oyashiro-sama's servant, or was contacting someone foreshadowing who would be the sacrifice that year. It was because of the ominous hatred I felt towards Oishi was becoming more substantiated, more real. Today, Sadako, she was absent today.
Wait, really?
That looked like news to Coach. I thought he might have known why Sadako was absent today, but...
Then I'll get going. You should go back to the others and put their minds at ease.
You're right. I will. Not gonna see Chie-sensei first? Okay, I guess that wasn't really important. Clatter. Coach left the nurse's office and headed towards the teacher's... Oh, I guess he's going towards the teacher's lounge. Okay, fine.
It's interesting how much of a difference first impressions make for Keiichi's relationship with Oishi. Compare this route to Route 1.
Yeah.
Like, in the first chapter, it's like, oh, this is the only guy I can trust. And then in this chapter, it's like, holy shit, this dude just used pain compliance techniques on me within 5 minutes of meeting me.
Yep. Also, the achievement we just got was called Better Left Unsaid, featured a red ball, and it said, Learned Sadako's secret. What was so secretive, that she wasn't always this happy, or...?
Perhaps so.
We know she has a reputation as the cursed child, but... Check out our new tips. Research notes and Oichi's postman. See research notes first.
I wonder if this is... Mio.
Go for it.
The Hojo family. Every year, Oyashiro-sama's curse claims 2 victims. This means that with 4 years in a row, there have been 8 now. But it's worthwhile to note half of them have been members of this family.
Yep.
Note, the curse on the 2nd year, a certain falling accident, involved the death of Hojo, a dam proponent, and the disappearance of his wife. She was pronounced dead the following year after being considered to have vanished under perilous circumstances. The curse on the 4th year involved the death of the Hojo siblings' aunt, who was then their foster mother, and the disappearance of the elder brother. The Hojo family is a poor one, and it's hard to say Mr. Hojo's job went very well. Apparently, upon re-employment via family connections, there was a plan for them to return to the home of the mother's side of the family. For Mr. Hojo, the eviction due to the Hinamizawa Dam project and the payment of a large amount of compensation money was essentially a windfall.
Oh, so it was less they're in favor of the dam and more like, we don't have a lot of money. We're planning on moving anyway, and you're going to give us money to do that? Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah. So it's less pro dam and more like, in these particular circumstances, this is great for us, actually.
Yep. Mr. Hojo actively embraced the Ministry of Construction's negotiations from an early stage and was selected as representative of the dam proponents.
Representative of the dam proponents. Right, okay.
It was rumored that he had been bought out by the Ministry of Construction for doing so, but the truth is unknown.
Yeah, I mean, her own conclusion seems to be more like it just circumstance meant that he was the perfect person to, accept this.
However, the dam's proponents were in the vastly outnumbered minority. In addition, as the Sonozaki family strengthened its own foundation and promised support against the dam, all of the proponents, save for Mr. Hojo, switched over to the anti-dam side.
Interesting.
At this point, Hinamizawa was completely united against the dam, and Mr. Hojo was held up to ridicule as a stooge of the dam project's proponents. He was, essentially, used as a scapegoat for the anti-dam coalition. In the end, the dam project collapsed with Oyashiro-sama's curse in the dismemberment incident. However, punishment toward the bitter enemies supporting the dam project continues to this day. There are not many left today who supported the dam project, nor who had a negative reputation at the time. If there were any candidates left for the curse, it's the husband of the housewife who was beaten to death last year, Teppei Hojo, and Mr. Hojo's daughter, Sadako Hojo. Strangely, these two are the only candidates left.
Really? But Tomatake and Mio fit nowhere into this.
Oh, that sure seems odd. Will this year's curse come down on the two of them? There is more than enough value in observing them both.
And if it is Mio, it's really funny that it winds up being her. Interesting. So that tells me that analysis then has to be wrong. Because we know that it's not those two in other versions of events. Pretty consistently. 2 for 2 now.
Seems like it.
Oishi's post memo. To Oishi-san.
Interesting. So this is okay.
There was a call for you from Section 4's Chief Shigeharu. Apparently, the slaughtered corpse in the Ojikawa River is related to the S group, as we thought. We're still verifying what happened behind. So wait, they think it's related to the Sonozakis, not related to Teppei doing it. Interesting. Unless Teppei has connections to the Sonozakis.
But that'd be odd, seeing as,
that's strange. I have two competing ideas in my head. But then why would the Sonozakis need to get involved with him?
Why indeed?
We're still verifying what happened behind the scenes, but apparently the deceased filled up dozens of self-created fictional bank accounts to their limits with money from the S Group, reaching around 100 million yen. It appears there were 3 or 4 men with former S Group connections involved in this. They've already disappeared, along with millions of yen. The deceased was tortured on that point for information. She was clearly slaughtered as an example to others. There are apparently some real wizards chasing down the people who disappeared. They're also spreading letters to related Yakuza groups not to harbor them. There's no evidence that Teppei Hojo is one of these people. As far as Chief Shigeharu can tell, he hasn't been told anything. He was her pimp. But she didn't trust him at all, did she? Okay then. Teppei Hojo has left the department in Okonomiya and has returned to his former residence in Hinamizawa. Left the department? Oh, apartment. I thought that's a department. And I'm like, he was a cop? No. Left the apartment in Okonomiya and has returned to his former residence in Hinamizawa. Ah, so he is back in town. That's probably where Sadako is. Oh, that is so menacing and so frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh,
We learned a lot in that, didn't we?
that is a whole lot to chew on, actually. God. And now I've got to kind of figure out how I really feel about like what events happened. Do I think it was Satoshi protecting his sister? Do I think it was Teppei murdering his own wife and then murdering his next partner? Or do I think it is somehow related to the Sonozakis, as the police seem to do? Maybe 2 out of 3. Right? That is a lot. It's a little short for so, but also we just finished a chapter and some end notes.
Yeah.
What do you say we call it here?
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right. We'll see you all next time, and please keep Sadako in your thoughts. Well wishes. Pray for her.
Peace, y'all.
Bye.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.